Hello guys, you are welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be looking at the differences and similarities between South Africa and Kenya. But first, if you are here to subscribe to my channel, kindly click the subscribe button because subscription is free, and also turn on the post notification bell so that YouTube is going to inform you immediately I upload new videos like this one. Please like and share this video so that YouTube is going to recommend the video to more people. Your comments will not be taken for granted. Now let's go into today's video, guys. I'll be comparing these two countries along some parameters, but first, let us talk about the economy. The economy of the two countries is very okay, but let us look at some facts with the statistics that the countries put at our disposal. Let us talk about tax rate. The top tax rate of South Africa as at 2017 was 45%, while that of Kenya was around 30% in 2016. This means that if you live in Kenya, you pay a lower tax rate. So let's talk about their gross domestic product. The gross domestic product per capita of South Africa was a bit above 13,000 US dollars in the year 2017, while that of Kenya was above 3,000 US dollars. This means that you make more money if you live in South Africa than you live in Kenya. So let's talk about their unemployment rate. Statistics also shows that 27.5% of South Africans who are adults are unemployed in the year 2017, and 40% was recorded for Kenya in the same year. This shows that there are more unemployed adults in Kenya compared to that of South Africa. So let's talk about the rate of poverty in these two countries. In South Africa, 16.6% of the total population lives below the world recognized poverty line, while in Kenya it is above 36% of the population that is living below the poverty line. This shows that on the average, people in South Africa are not poor like people in Kenya. So let's talk about life expectancy rate. People in Kenya tend to live longer than people in South Africa because the life expectancy rate in Kenya is 69 years, and in South Africa life expectancy rate is around 65 years. So now let's talk about HIV/AIDS. When you look at the rate at which people in each country live with HIV/AIDS, you will see that more people live with HIV/AIDS in South Africa than in Kenya, because over 20% of South African people lives with HIV/AIDS, while in Kenya it is about 5% of the total population that are living with HIV/AIDS. This shows that the rate of spread of HIV/AIDS in South Africa is higher than that of Kenya. Now let's talk about the rate at which they give birth. Also in Kenya, there are more children than that of South Africa. Statistics shows that in South Africa, there are about 20 babies per 1,000 people, and in Kenya, it is about 25 babies to 1,000 people. Now let's talk about the death during labor. In South Africa, about 12 women in 10,000 births die during labor, and in Kenya, over 34 women in 10,000 births die during labor. This shows that more women die during labor in Kenya than in South Africa. Let's talk about obesity in these two countries. When it comes to being obese, South Africa has more people who are obese, as over 28% of adults in South Africa are obese, and in Kenya only 7% of people are obese. Most percentage of Kenyans are people with small size. So let's talk about the access to electricity. When we talk about access to electricity, people in South Africa have more access to electricity than people in Kenya, because 84% of people living in South Africa have access to electricity, and in Kenya it is about 56% of the total population that have access to electricity. Let's talk about the access to internet. When we talk about the access to internet, people in South Africa have access to internet than people living in Kenya, because over 56% of the total population of South Africa have access to internet services, and in Kenya it is about 18% of the total population that have access to internet service, even though the rate of pay for internet in South Africa is higher than that of Kenya. Now let's talk about access to drinkable water. About 96% of the total population of South Africa have access to drinkable water, and 68% of Kenya population have access to drinkable water, which means that larger population of South Africa have access to drinkable water more than the population of Kenya. So let's talk about education in these two countries. Taking a look at the year 2018, South Africa government spent about 6.2% of its total GDP on education, while Kenya spent about 5.3% of its total GDP on education. This shows that Kenya spent less on education if compared to South Africa. Let's take a look at the cost of living in both countries. From the research I have done, it is cheaper to live in Kenya than to live in South Africa, and I'll be backing this with some statistical figures. From one of those that have lived in the two countries before, he said that clothes are cheaper in Kenya than in South Africa. He also said that they pay less for housing in Kenya as compared to South Africa. A loaf of bread in South Africa costs about $0.9 and it goes for around $0.45 in Kenya. In South Africa, you pay more on internet service as compared to Kenya, and same thing goes to housing in both countries. You pay more on housing in South Africa as compared to Kenya. There are more parameters with which we can compare these two countries, but for the sake of this video, I'll be stopping here. You can let us know your experience about these two countries in the comment section. I'll be glad to also learn from you. If you are here to subscribe to my channel, kindly click the subscription button down there and turn on the post notification bell so that YouTube is going to inform you whenever I drop new video like this one. Please like and share this video so that YouTube is going to recommend it to more people to watch. Thank you for watching, as I'm going to see you in my next video.